Depending on your feelings about all the allegations against Ellen DeGeneres right now, you might be thinking there is no one worse than her. But I've done some digging on the internet and found 10 celebrities who are, and we are going to take a look at them right now on Beyond the Screen. I'm your host for this one, Joss Bedard. Make sure you guys subscribe, ring the bell, say hi to us on social media. Let's get into it. Starting us off at number 10 is Crystalia. He was recently exposed for talking to an underage girl, but somehow people have already stopped talking about it, and I'm a little confused. He was first exposed by a woman named Julia Holtzman, who revealed screenshots that showed he was messaging her knowing she was underage. She said that he randomly DM'd her on Instagram where it was clear she was in high school because her page was filled with high school football games and recent pictures of a Sweet 16 celebration. The screenshot showed that he actually gave her his phone number and that he asked her to travel to New York to visit him. Public records have confirmed that the phone number is linked to him, and when that came out, 4 other underage girls came forward with their own inappropriate claims against him. He responded by saying all of his relationships were consensual and legal and that the accusations aren't true, but I mean, the proof was in the pudding. And I still don't get how, it's just faded out already. Literally, he's fine. He's not even cancelled anymore. Up next, number 9 is James Franco. Remember the time he tried to rent out a hotel room with a 17-year-old girl who told him that she was 17 years old? Yeah, me too. Back in 2014, screenshots surfaced of him talking to an underage girl where she states that she is still 17 and also has a boyfriend. James even sent her a photo with her name handwritten on a piece of paper to prove to her that it was really him. That was just the start to his career being completely destroyed. It officially ended in 2018 after he wore a Time's Up pin to the Golden Globe Awards. The internet immediately started flooding with accusations of sexual harassment and assault. The allegations got very serious very quickly, and he even got sued by some of his students from his LA acting studio. His career has never been the same since, and in all honesty, he does not really have a career. I don't know what he's doing. Sliding into number 8 is Paula Deen. She was the face of the Food Network for many years up until a lawsuit was filed against her by another celebrity chef. Lisa Jackson accused her of racial discrimination, claiming that she used the N-word when talking about African Americans. Lisa was also her former general manager, so the two of them had a good relationship at one point. When Paula was asked if she ever used the N-word, her response was, "Yes, of course, it's just what they are. They're jokes. Most jokes are about Jewish people, rednecks, black folks. I can't determine what offends another person." Fox News obtained quotes that she has said over her career where she made a variety of comments that most people would find offensive. Netflix canceled her TV programs worldwide, and she had to go to court to defend her case. Rolling into number 7 is Isaiah Washington. The Grey's Anatomy actor found himself on Hollywood's blacklist after he made some homophobic comments at the 2007 Golden Globe Awards. But people were more upset because this was not the first time that he's been busted for this type of behavior. He got in trouble twice for insulting his co-star TR Knight with homophobic language. He had apologized for both incidents and even got put in executive counseling, but then Grey's Anatomy decided that his contract would not be removed and announced that they were letting him go from the show. He talked about being shunned out for all these years and said, "After the incident at the Golden Globes, everything just fell apart. I lost everything. I couldn't afford to have an agent. I couldn't afford to have a publicist. I couldn't afford to continue." Doesn't totally surprise me. I mean, he said some pretty messed up things. Moving on to number 6 is CeeLo Green. The musician and judge on The Voice faced some serious heat after he was accused of sexual battery. Back in October 2012, a woman came forward and accused him of raping her while they were partying one night. 2 years after those allegations, he received probation and community service after pleading no contest to a lesser charge of giving his victim ecstasy. Only 2 days after the case was closed on August 31st, 2014, he went on Twitter to talk about it, and rather than an apology, he wrote this: "If someone is passed out, they're not even with you consciously, so with implies consent. People who have really been remember." And that tweet is basically what ended his reputation. TBS canceled a show called The Good Life, and he also lost his headlining gig that was scheduled in New Orleans. Haven't heard much of him since. Halfway through our list, number 5 is Roseanne Barr. The actress and comedian once had her own ABC show called Roseanne, but it all came crashing down when she became one of Hollywood's most controversial figures in May 2018. She sent out some racist tweets referring to Valerie Jarrett, a senior advisor to the former President Barack Obama. In her tweet, she compared Valerie to a cross between the Muslim Brotherhood and the movie Planet of the Apes. After seeing the backlash she received for the racist tweet, it was immediately deleted and she issued an apology. But by that point, ABC had already cancelled her show. When speaking about her tweet now, she continues to say that it was just a joke and that she's a comedian and that this is what she does. That joke did not do too well for ya. I don't think anyone was laughing. Here now at number 4 is Kevin Spacey. The wildly successful actor had the world in his hands when he was starring on his Netflix series House of Cards. But things in his career started to change in October 2017 when a story was published by another actor, Anthony Rapp, accusing Spacey of making a sexual advance towards him when he was 14 years old. After the story was published, more than 30 people came forward with allegations accusing him of things ranging from harassment to attempted rape. He was fired from his Netflix hit House of Cards, and another actor, Robin Wright, was promoted to the solo lead for the show in the 6th and final season, and his publicist also dropped him immediately. He was charged with a felony for sexual assault and fought a very long battle in court, one that is still very controversial and not many people agree with it because he got away with a lot of that stuff. In the 3rd spot is Bill Cosby, an iconic actor who is now behind bars after being accused of sexual assault and misconduct by more than 50 people. The allegations surfaced in 2014 when he was accused of sexual assault that took place in the mid-1960s. He has been accused by different women for rape, drug-facilitated sexual assault, sexual battery, child sexual abuse, and sexual misconduct. As more people started coming forward with allegations, the alleged incident spanned from 1965 to 2008 in the US and one case in Canada. He battled the allegations for years, but was first found guilty on April 26, 2018 for 3 counts of aggravated assault. Then on September 25, 2018, he was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in state prison. Sniping the number 2 spot is Harvey Weinstein. He was once known for being one of Hollywood's biggest movie producers, but his incredibly successful career began to crumble in October of 2017. The New York Times reported that dozens of women came out and accused him of rape, sexual assault, and sexual abuse over a period of 30+ years. More than 80 women in the film industry have since accused him of these acts. Of course, he has always denied the allegations, but he was still dismissed from TWC and expelled from the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences. In February 2020, he faced the court for his final sentencing, and the jury found him guilty for 2 counts of predatory sexual assault, each of them carrying a sentence up to life in prison. That's what I like to hear. Taking the number 1 spot is Lovely Peaches. The TikTok star was recently banned from the TikTok app after she publicly attacked and threatened Charli D'Amelio. Charli is the biggest star on the app and is only 16 years old. For some reason, Peaches had some issues with her and started making videos where she said she hired an old man to find Charli and her. She was actually asking fans for Charli's location and even live streamed a phone call with the man on the phone who agreed that he was going to do it. But even after she was banned from TikTok, she went on to Instagram and started using the same threats. She started posting pictures outside of Charli's home. The whole thing faded away after fans started contacting police because they were very worried for Charli's life. That's insane to me. Kicking off our countdown, number 10 is Stephen Collins. If you ever watched the hit television series Seventh Heaven, he was the dad in the family who was also a minister. He took on the role for all 11 seasons, and people grew a connection to his character and the rest of the family. But everyone saw him in a new light in 2014 when allegations surfaced saying that he had sexually abused girls. The worst part about the whole thing was that he openly admitted to it. He went into detail about incidents that happened to his different victims between 1973 and 1994. An audio recording was first reported to TMZ where you can hear him in a therapy session with his wife admitting to these disturbing actions. He was never arrested or charged, he just moved to Iowa and has been staying under the radar ever since. How you get away with that, I will never understand, and I watched that show as a kid with my sister all the time. Shame. Up next, number 9 is Lil Kim. Did you guys know Lil Kim went to prison? Yeah, but we're all able to put that in the past and allow her to continue in Hollywood for some reason. Back in 2005, she was sentenced to a year and a day in prison and fined $50,000. What did she do? She was caught lying to a federal grand jury. She lied to protect her friends who were apparently involved in a 2001 shootout that happened outside a Manhattan radio station. She was testifying on behalf of her friend and manager, Damian Butler. She claimed she did not see him on the day in question, but video evidence showed him opening the door for her and them clearly being in eye contact with each other. She ended up admitting to her lies in her own trial and she was sent behind bars. Some fans have stuck by her and said that she is a true friend for not being a snitch, but there is no denying that she committed a crime in this process. Very serious crime. You cannot lie to a jury. Coming in at number 8 is Sean Penn. Ellen DeGeneres is facing allegations right now that claim she hasn't treated people kindly on her talk show set. But what happens when you punch someone in the face on set? Sean Penn has been known for his hot temper, which has landed him in a lot of trouble on different occasions. One of them ended with him being sentenced to 60 days in jail, followed by at least 6 months of psychotherapy for his violent behavior. A movie extra named Jeffrey Klein was on break while filming Colors at Venice Beach and started snapping pics of Sean, who noticed. The story goes that Sean was angry and spit on him, and then when he spit back, Sean punched him in the face several times with a closed fist and had to be pulled off him by members of the crew and cast. Unless Ellen's punching someone in the face, I don't think you can compare them. Sliding into number 7 is Doja Cat. 2020 has not been a good time for Doja because she has come under some serious fire for saying offensive things online. And of course, people started a trending hashtag Doja Cat is over party. Because that's what we do in 2020. We start hashtags like this to cancel people. Allegations surfaced that claimed she had taken part in racist video chats, and she wrote a song in 2015 called Didn't Do Nuffin, which is a racist slur mocking victims of police brutality. She issued an apology for the song, but denied taking part in any kind of racism chatting online. She said, "I've used public chat rooms to socialize since I was a child. I shouldn't have been on some of these chat room sites, but I personally have never been involved in any racist conversations. I'm sorry to everyone I offended." However, screenshots showed that she was in fact in these conversations. She recently performed at the VMA Awards, which was actually very surprising to fans, and some people started to say that they were just desperate for performers during the COVID pandemic, so they picked her. In spot number 6 is Sebastian Stan. The actor is known worldwide for his role as Bucky Barnes in the Marvel Universe, and one thing everyone knows about the MCU is you do not want to mess with Marvel fans. They're crazy. A few months ago, he caused tons of controversy after his girlfriend posted a picture of herself and a friend wearing Japanese geisha outfits, and she captioned it in big letters, Asian Night. Some of his fans took it to Twitter and exposed her for her racist and insensitive picture, and rather than speaking up about it, he just started blocking everyone online. Fans started writing that they stood by him for years and they felt disrespected by him that he would just allow that and not speak up about it. It didn't take long for the hashtag Sebastian Stan is over party to start trending. For the record, the girlfriend did not apologize either, so that's nice. Halfway through our list, number 5 is Lea Michele. The Glee actress was called out by her former castmates who claimed that she made their experience on set a living hell. Samantha Ware tweeted out at Lea saying, "Remember when you made my first television gig a living hell? Cause I'll never forget. I believe you told everyone that if you had the opportunity, you would in my wig." In response to that, another cast member, Keith Powell, wrote, "I co-sign on this. Lea Michele is a terrible human and has said terrible things to many different types of people, including racist aggressions to and about people." Lea didn't admit to any of these claims, but apologized for jokes that she made on set, and she never meant to hurt anyone, apparently. I mean, I don't know how you say racist things and you're like, "Oh, I didn't mean to hurt someone." Yeah. Like, you didn't think that would hurt someone? Makes no sense. Sniping the number 4 spot is Shane Dawson. He is one of the biggest YouTubers in the world and has been around since the beginning. But his early content resurfaced recently, and it ended up with his 3 YouTube channels being completely demonetized, so he cannot make any money off new or old content. He used to do comedy sketches in some of his old videos, and in them he used the N-word and also made inappropriate comments about Willow Smith, who was only 11 years old old at the time. He did issue an apology through a YouTube video, but he's been quiet ever since then, and that was a few months ago. He's actually been very silent on every platform, not just YouTube. Fans are wondering if he will make a comeback, and if he does, how will that go? In our third spot is Amber Heard. If you have been on the internet in the last few months, then your screens have probably been filled with articles about her $100 million lawsuit against ex-husband Johnny Depp. Some disturbing claims have come from both sides of the case, but she's taking most of the heat after audio recordings surface and prove that she has lied about some serious claims. She showed up to the police station with a bruised face, claiming that Johnny had beat her. But her hairdresser even testified that she saw her the following day and she had no bruises on her face. And we all know they don't go away that quickly. Leaked audio recordings also caught Amber saying to Johnny that she is going to take him for all his money and that no one would believe his side of the story. She even admitted in the recording that she hit him. The whole world has turned against her and everyone is rooting for him in hopes that he will win the lawsuit and be able to get his money back and his career. Moving on to number 2, we have Christian Slater. The actor is known for many of his roles, but back in the 90s he was at the height of his career until he was put behind bars. Back in 1997 he was arrested for punching his girlfriend and a police officer while under the influence of cocaine. At the time, he said he had been taking heroin, cocaine, and had been drinking for a couple days straight with only a couple hours of sleep. He had to serve 90 days in jail, followed by 3 months in a residential drug treatment program. But even after his jail time, somehow he was able to come back to Hollywood and live out a very successful career without people ever questioning his actions. I mean, he punched his girlfriend and a police officer, but somehow that's forgivable. Pay no mind to Ellen, but let's forgive this. In spot number 1 is Jimmy Fallon. Could it be that her talk show friend and host is worse than she is? The internet might argue this point after they started to spread old footage of him in blackface. The footage was one of his Saturday Night Live sketches from 2 decades ago where he impersonated Chris Rock but in blackface makeup. People couldn't get over how that was ever okay in the first place, and why is it just being talked about now? Jimmy did take responsibility though and issued an apology saying, "In 2000 while on SNL, I made a terrible decision to do an impersonation of Chris Rock while in blackface. There's no excuse for this. I am very sorry for making this unquestionably offensive decision and thank you all for holding me accountable." But the controversy just kind of died down and his talk show just continued on. But if this was footage of Ellen doing that, would her show just continue on? That is the big debate. Beginning the countdown, number 10 is Carole Baskin. You guys, she literally killed her husband and then got a spot on Dancing with the Stars. Is there really a comparison between her and Ellen DeGeneres? Like, we're talking about murder. Never in my life would I think an accused murderer would get positive press and recognition and even paid to star on a huge TV competition series. She is literally like the ultimate how to get away with murder if she did murder him. Now, this is going off the fact that she actually did kill her husband, but we all know that has been one of the biggest debates of 2020. Majority of people are convinced that she did. I don't think I've met someone who thought she was innocent. But even if she is, a lot of people didn't really like her after seeing the Netflix documentary Tiger King. She was protesting against Joe Exotic's Tiger Zoo, yet she also keeps tigers in cages on her own property, so there was a lot of double standards that people just did not like. Coming in next, number 9 is Tom Cruise. He has had a few moments in his acting career that were questionable, yet somehow we seem to get over them pretty quickly. He is a huge member in the Scientology Church, which is a massive controversy in itself. Some would say that alone is enough to say that he is worse than Ellen. But on more than one occasion, stories have surfaced of times where he was rude to people on set and people did not want to work with him ever again. A member from the US Navy came forward and said that they were told not to look at the movie star while filming Top Gun 2 and said he was very arrogant towards them. The crew member asked to remain anonymous when they went to NBC7 with their story, but then the Navy released a statement saying the claims were not true. They said, "Some sailors may have misinterpreted guidance from the Navy that told sailors to not approach actors while filming and not use cell phones on the set. So really the story is all on whose side you believe." Sniping the number 8 spot is Charlie Sheen. How do we really pick a time where he took things too far and we probably shouldn't have forgiven him. The time he demanded a raise of 6 more figures per week even though he was making $2 million an episode, or the time where he tried to sue the TV show that paid him those $2 million per episode, or the time he illegally fired Selma Blair from the show Anger Management through a text message, or the time he called the 2.5 Men creator a maggot and threatened to beat him up. I really could go on and on with a hefty list of examples. We could also never forget the interviews he did while he was drunk or high, especially the one where he said very disturbing things and tried to convince us that he had tiger blood running through his veins. Rolling to number 7 is Aubrey O'Day. She caused a ton of chaos online after paparazzi photos of her leaked online recently and caused the internet to go crazy. The photos revealed just how unrealistic and photoshopped her social media images are and how damaging it is to her followers and people looking up to her. When comparing the paparazzi photos to her Instagram, it looks like 2 different people. She responded to the photos by posting a mirror selfie saying, "It's amazing what people will do for clickbait." She claimed that the photos were altered and that they want to make a story about it. But eyewitnesses who saw her that day have said the photos are not edited in any way. But then people started to claim that her mirror picture was also altered and even pointed the things out. Some people might believe her story since the press does tend to make things up for a good story, but majority of people are not buying it. Coming into number 6 is Christian Bale. Are we really going to accuse Ellen of mistreating people when we've forgiven Christian for verbally assaulting a crew member and have the whole thing caught on camera? The rant went viral and has been talked about for years. It was during his time filming for the Terminator movie when he started yelling at a crew member for interrupting his scene to fix a light. He screamed for about 5 minutes straight and even told the director that he will not continue filming the movie unless the guy is fired. People couldn't believe that he would use his fame and power towards someone losing their job, especially over something so ridiculous. Christian since then has apologized for his behavior and called it inexcusable, so many people can be forgiving towards Ellen, I think, if they can be forgiving towards him. Because let's be real, his career continued on just fine after that. Halfway through at number 5 is Shia LaBeouf. The world forgave him for the time he was arrested back in 2017 after he got really drunk and went on a racist rant towards police officers. The worst part about it was that it wasn't just a story that we read in the tabloid. The whole thing was caught on video, so we actually got to see it firsthand. In the video, he's being arrested by officers and he is yelling racist slurs at them and cussing them out. That's basically the best way I can describe the video without actually saying the horrible things he said. After the incident, he was sentenced to 10 weeks of court-ordered rehab where he says he learned that his defensiveness and violence was a result of post-traumatic stress disorder stemming from an incident in his childhood. He later did apologize for his actions and he seems to be in a better place now. No one is perfect, but to me it's like, why are we canceling all these celebrities but then forgiving other ones who also made poor decisions? Making his way into number 4 is Mel Gibson, another man who has had issues with racist rants and having them leaked online. His wild rant was recorded and leaked online after he sent a 30-minute voicemail, probably split up because I don't even think voicemails can be that long, to his girlfriend at the time, Oksana Grigorieva, who was also the mother of their 8-month-old child at the time. In the audio recordings, he was verbally threatening her and was yelling derogatory and inappropriate things towards her. Majority of his words are too inappropriate to say on here, and with YouTube's new guidelines, they would all be bleeped out, but he did threaten to have her jumped and sexually assaulted. The entire thing is honestly very cringy to listen to. I can't even listen to it. It's unreal that he got away with this. He later issued an apology after seeing the backlash he was getting, and he blamed it on being drunk and stupid. In spot number 3 is Mike Myers. People are quick to say that working with Ellen DeGeneres hasn't been a positive experience, but Mike Myers had this reputation long before she did. Turns out he was a nightmare to work with while filming Cat in the Hat, and maybe it's why his career slowly died down after that. One of his castmates from the movie described working with him as a nightmarish, horrible experience. She claimed that he covered the area around his trailer with tents because he didn't want anyone to see him. She also said he would keep everyone waiting for hours when it was time to film a scene because he didn't follow the production schedule, he just kind of did his own things. One thing Amy Hill and the director both revealed was that he had an assistant follow him around with a Tupperware of chocolate and feed him whenever he wanted them. Chris, I am still wanting you to do that for me. Sliding into number 2 is J.K. Rowling. The Harry Potter author has been under under fire for months over comments she made about trans people. Some of her comments have come off insensitive as she expressed her opinions of sexuality. She posted some tweets about it saying that sex needs to be a real thing and claimed that there is no same-sex attraction. If her tweets weren't enough, then maybe her long blog post about it would be, but no. She wrote a book about it which surfaced recently, and it's basically about not trusting a man in a dress. The story is about two detectives investigating a cold case about a cisgender man who wears women's clothes to kill women. Maybe the timing of her book is not ideal with some of the other comments she's made, but people are not happy with the message that it seems like she's trying to make. You really have to read her blog and various posts to fully grasp her opinion on it, but a lot of people don't agree with it. Even Harry Potter himself. Winning the #1 place is Joe Exotic. If we have Carole Baskin on this list, I think it's only fair that we have Joe too. I mean, he did get caught for killing innocent tigers and being part of a murder for hire plot against Carole. Investigators revealed that it was confirmed he had shot and killed 5 innocent tigers and sold baby lemurs and falsified paperwork to say they were donated. As for the hitman plot, he was allegedly going to pay $3,000 for a hitman to murder his rival, Carole. He is now in prison for 22 years despite the fact that he claims he is innocent. Another disturbing story throughout all of this also came out and claimed that he had taken on a woman's horse to his zoo to take care of it, but then he shot it and used it as meat for his tigers. So I think we can all agree that he is worse than Ellen, and probably majority of people on this list. I don't think many people are forgiving when it comes to animals. Alright guys, that is our part 3 list. Let me know what you're thinking down in those comments and leave a like if you enjoyed it, but for now I'm gonna end this video with comments from celebrities who destroyed their careers in seconds 2020. Life on Wheels says 2020, the year everyone lost their jobs. Yes, sadly, and their sanity probably. Mel Vividic says auditions just to see how Chris looks like. We're probably gonna get people like coming in here to audition for jobs just to get a look at Chris. That's kind of genius, and now I'm a little worried. Chris, you're gonna have to wear a mask. A full mask. Every audition from here on out. Joseph Izzo says, Joss, when are you becoming the mega celebrity and starring in the blockbusters we all want to see you in? No pressure! Well, you know, whatever's meant to be will be, whenever it's meant to happen. And maybe that is not what's meant to happen. Who knows? Ice Spaghetti says, stop canceling people who repent. We've all made mistakes. I agree. I think everyone has made mistakes. I know I've made mistakes that I would not want in front of the world. So this whole cancel culture thing just needs to end. And it's very annoying. Alright guys, I am getting out of here. Come say hi on social media. Subscribe, ring the bell to hang out with us every day. I've been your host Joss. I will see you next time.